Hey, this is Crystal, and I am off to Shambhala here on YouTube, and this is another episode of Reseller Shop Talk, where I talk about my adventures in reselling mostly used items and mostly on eBay. But I have been known to sell things on Craigslist. I've sold on Mercari, Amazon. I actually have some things listed on Amazon. And where else? Did I mention Craigslist? And what's that other one? OfferUp. And I have some things listed on Poshmark, but I have yet to sell anything over there. And I'm thinking actually about... I was thinking about getting more involved in selling on Poshmark, but then I ran into somebody the other day. Well, this guy, he bought one of those Santa blow molds from me off of Craigslist. And he says he sells baseball cards. And he says he has like over 1 million baseball cards in like several storage units. And he stopped selling them on eBay, and he has pretty much taken everything off of eBay, and he's still paying for a store. And he says in a couple months he's going to cancel the store, like he's on the year deal or whatever. But he's not even on eBay anymore, and he's just selling all of his baseball cards on Facebook. And so that's kind of interesting. Now, I don't know if other items will be sort of like the kind of thing that you would want to sell on Facebook, or where it would be like the go-to place, but it sounds to me like if you are into baseball cards, Facebook is the place to be. And maybe if you're selling a lot of things like that that are really easy to mail and ship, and where there's sort of like a community of people that kind of know about them, they can sort of congregate together better, and they can make sales without having all those extra fees and all that crazy stuff. So that's kind of interesting. And he and I are talking about working together. He's got some things that he wants me to sell for him. I had suggested, I said, well, hey, if you ever have anything you do think is better for eBay and you want somebody to help you sell or whatever, I'm available. I'm always looking for people to work with, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And so I called him actually later in the day on Wednesday, which was Thanksgiving Eve, and he didn't call me back that night, so I'm just assuming he talked like he had a lot of family things going on, so I'm assuming he's busy with doing family things, and I have not given him a call back since, but we did sort of text a little bit after we made that transaction. So I'm hopeful that we might be able to have a good relationship, and it's kind of nice to have somebody local to maybe network with. I don't know if anything is going to happen, but I did find it interesting that there's a thing going on with baseball cards, and apparently he's doing very well with that on Facebook. So he's piqued my interest in taking the shopping system that eBay has sort of, I guess, started to put into place a little more seriously. Now, I do want to say this about, gosh, I don't even know, when was it? 2011? I was extremely active on Facebook. I had a maxed out friend page. I was starting a fan page. I had a business actually that I was running. It was basically a magazine that I was actually publishing, a physical magazine, but most of my activities were on the web as far as advertisement. The best advertisement I could offer to my advertisers was technically on the web, and I would promote events, and it was really fun and great and a lot of work, and it took me years to get to the point where people would call me up and drop $700 or $800 on advertising with me, and it was so cool. And I got scared, I guess. My son kind of wasn't doing very well, my oldest son, and I had really been neglecting my children during this whole time. on a lot of levels, and I couldn't live with myself. So I just dropped the whole ball on the whole project, and I always wonder what would have happened had I continued forward, because I'm telling you, I had a local magazine. My focus, not only online, but with my magazine, was very localized. And the advantage to having that is that people that want to hit your locale, they want to work with you. Because, and also I was doing sort of like holistic health, let's just say, was sort of my topic. And so there was just a lot of activity in that sort of niche, if you want to call it that. And so it was really great. I met all kinds of amazing people. I mean, I could have been like the Louise Hay of Phoenix and started my own group of amazing people like Louise Hay did with her Hay House Publishing Company. I mean, she got Wayne Dyer, I don't know if you can ever top that. And she herself is an amazing person. I have a lot of respect. But I just, looking back, I'm like, God, it was so neat to have been doing that. Well, anyway, so I had a lot of activity going on Facebook, and I was constantly on Facebook. And they had back then, I am going somewhere with this, believe it or not. Back then, they did have a way, they had just started something, or it had been there for a while, I don't know, but nobody was really using it, some sort of a way to list things for sale. And I had listed like some handbags, and because I thought, we really need to take advantage of this, because we were like I said, very active on Facebook. And I got a lot of response. I mean, I didn't sell anything. We never quite got that far, and there was just a lot of things I didn't know, and I was being pulled in so many directions at the time. It's hard to focus, and I had a partner at the time, and he was kind of worthless. I hate to say it, but make long story short, I don't want to say he was 100% worthless. He did some great things along the way to help me, but he was constantly dropping the ball on a lot of things. It really, it was like having a child that had these capabilities, and you had to constantly push them to do things. And that is not a good business partner. Anyways, so I remember that I got a really good response back then. And then apparently they stopped doing it, and I heard some other people talking about it. I don't remember if it was on Reseller Pulse or who was talking about it. It could have been the girls on Reseller Stew. I don't remember who was talking about, but they mentioned that there used to be some way they were starting something like that, back in like 2010, 2011, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I think now the atmosphere has changed, where people are just more into utilizing that for selling stuff. Anyways, so I kind of wish I'd have stayed on Facebook a little bit and had put more effort into reselling things, or whatever, selling products online back then, instead of just selling advertising. But there's only so much one person can do. It's just, let's just face it. But at the same time, I wish I had stayed more on top of that. But what are you going to do? I wouldn't call it a regret. So anyway, so that's why I'm a little more, my interest is more piqued in Facebook. However, I do predict that somehow Facebook is going to want to start taking a cut as their system of selling starts to become more and more popular. There's probably going to be some sort of a fee or cut or something, very much like there was with Mercari. But maybe not, because I think you can use PayPal. And with PayPal, they have a shipping service. So as long as somebody's buying something through PayPal, you can just use the PayPal system. And I double checked, you still get the same discounts as you do on eBay. So I believe that if it's under 16 ounces, you're still getting that special first class eBay rate, because that's what it looked like to me. I tested it out. And so that's kind of cool. And then, of course, there's the eBay protections, or I'm sorry, the PayPal protections too. However, I gotta say, I like eBay tends to stick up for the seller a little more, but PayPal, I don't know, just based on all that stuff that went on with Craigslist Hunter and that computer deal. Definitely check out the scammer videos on Craigslist Hunter if you're not familiar with the story of what Pete recently went through. But eBay was like immediately on his side. And then the guy went from trying to get eBay on his side, the scammer guy went from trying to get eBay on his side, he failed at that, so he immediately went over to PayPal. And PayPal didn't even really hardly pay attention to it and sided with the scammer guy. And Pete had to really go the extra mile to get his money back. And it was worth it because it was a big transaction. But still, there is protections, and I have had very good luck with PayPal actually in the past. One time I sent something to somebody and the person said that it didn't arrive at all. They never got the package. And they did their claim or whatever it was through PayPal. Now, this was like when I first started selling it. I can't remember what you call it when they do that, if it's like a claim or a case or something. But it worked out great. I just contacted them and they said, oh, yeah, well, it shows that it was delivered and you shipped it on time. And so we're going to, they had my money on hold and they just gave me, it was like $25, and they just gave me my money back, basically. And so I think they basically ate the cost of that. So I was like, wow, and it was amazingly easy. So that is the cool thing about using Facebook, is that you can use PayPal to accept payments, and then you can use PayPal for shipping and get the same eBay rates, and then you don't have to pay anybody. However, I just don't think there's like the customer base and I haven't gone in to try to make any listings yet. But I still think eBay by far is the best as far as all of the choices and things that they have to offer. Anyway, so enough said about that. So I guess what I was going to say is, prior to having spoken to this guy and been like, maybe I really need to check out Facebook, I was thinking maybe I really need to take Poshmark a little more seriously, because it is apparently growing in popularity. And Mercari, I was on them and I really liked them when they weren't charging any fees, but now they're charging fees. And so I'm like, I just don't really know if it's worth it to be over there. But anyways, that was all the stuff I was trying to get at. Okay, so crazy things have been happening. So I used to have, or like, you can take pictures on your phone, and they automatically are set to go to Google Photos, and same thing with my Galaxy camera, and it was working pretty good for a while, and then when I moved my office back home, I was too lazy to set it for my Wi-Fi here and that Galaxy camera, and so I just grabbed my Canon ELPH and have been uploading it manually. And to tell you the truth, I really don't find it bothersome at all to have to do that. Now, it is nice to have that automatic thing, but I was having a lot of problems with photos not going through, and that really sucks. You just took a batch of pictures and they're not there. Then you go sit down, you're like, okay, I'm going to list. And then you go in and they're not there. And you're like, what the hell? Or, there will be 5 missing out of the whole batch. or something. Like, I was always having problems with that. Now, it wasn't like a huge problem, but it happened enough for me to like not like it. So when I moved my office back home, I wasn't in any big rush to start reusing that thing. Now, I did like the pictures a little bit better from that I was taking on the Galaxy phone, or the Galaxy camera. It's not a phone. But they weren't really that much better than the e.l.f. Frankly, my Sony Cybershot was the best so far. And I almost want to just buy another one of those. Maybe in a couple months. You think you can pick them up for $30, $40 still on eBay? Maybe 40 or 50, because people must like them. But I've seen them as low as like 30. Okay. So here's where I'm going with all this. So a couple weeks ago, I don't know, I got some notice that said to do my cleaner thing, and I'm like, you know what, it's been months, it's been like 6 months since I've done my computer cleaner that my computer guys like put on my computer from when I bought it from them, and they're like, you should do this once a week or whatever. I don't do it because I don't know what happened. I tried it one time and it like took forever, and I'm like, I need to get back to work, you know. So I did it the other day just because I was having some weird things happen, and I'm like, well, maybe I better do that cleaner. And I've been been pretty good about cleaning my cache on a regular basis. But so I did that, and it erased my capability to grab Google Photos from eBay. And I don't know what you call this or how you make that happen. All I know is my computer guy set it up for me. He came down to my office when I had my actual office, and he like synced up all my computers, and he set it up so that Google Photos I could access Google Photos and then upload them to eBay straight from Google Photos. So now, after I did that cleaner thing, now when I go to add photos, the little thing on the menu on the side, it only says like regular photos on my computers, or you know, files from my computer. There's no menu choice for Google Photos anymore. So there's no way I can grab those, or I don't know how to do it. I spent a whole day, well, let's say half a day, searching on how to make this happen, because I lost the capability on my other computer and I wanted to make it and I'm like, well, how do I get that back on there? It can't be that hard to set it up. And there's no explanation. So, and I don't even know what to call it to look it up. Like maybe there's like a phrase you need, like, you know, the right search term. So I don't know, that was several months ago. I need to maybe take one more shot at it, but sometime in the next couple weeks, or at least maybe in January, I don't know when, sometime soon, I've got to get over to my computer guys and be like, can you just tell me how you did that? Like, what do you do? Or something. Or I need to hire them to come back down. Come over here. I don't know what I'm going to do. But when I find out, I'm making a video about it, because people need to know. And the other thing I can't figure out is how to do the same thing with my Dymo printer. Like, okay, I hooked up the Dymo printer and I can print labels from it and it prints just fine, but I don't know how to send my labels from eBay to my Dymo printer. And my computer guy said, well, you probably should call the Dymo people. He's like, I don't know. Or he didn't want to help me with it at the time, you know, because I mean, I don't know, whatever. He did a great job, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't real helpful with my Dymo printer. And I don't understand why it's so complicated to get things synced up, and why is there no clear explanation for how to make these things happen for people that just absolutely have no idea what they're doing. Like, there needs to be some clear explanation. And I'll tell you, when I find out, I am making some videos, because there is a lack of that. And then the other thing that I think there's a lack of, and that I feel very comfortable discussing, is bookkeeping and taxes specifically for eBay and other resellers, or for people, because there's so many people that just sell their random things, whether it's their own things from their own house. I mean, maybe they're not as concerned about the bookkeeping, but if you turn it into a business, and you're buying a lot of one-offs, and there's just different implications for this type of business. And so I'm definitely going to be increasing the types of content that I'm creating. I want them to be real helpful and informational. And the other thing is I am going to be I'm going to be getting a tax preparer's certificate. Several years ago, I looked into it, and I thought that seems like something that's like up my alley and something I'd be interested in. And since I started doing this business, and I really started to zero in on my bookkeeping and like really trying to make it work and make it efficient and make it meaningful and useful, I really enjoyed it, actually. So I thought, it's probably good. As much as I believe in plan A, if there's only a plan A, then you're guaranteed success. Well, I feel like I'd like to have eBay. I want eBay to be my plan A, and then doing tax prep will just sort of be my side gig. So during tax season, maybe the first couple years I might make an extra couple thousand. If I build up some clientele over 5 or 6 years, maybe I'll, over the course of 3 or 4 months, I'll be doing, 15 or 20,000. Who knows where I could go with that. But I like that business too, because it really doesn't require a lot of activity and stuff. It's just get a client and sit down and input the information, and so I see that as something that I could do until my brain just goes haywire. Whereas eBay might be something where I might be like, what, I'm done with this, or I can see myself being more done with it, and I'd like to have something that's not as labor intensive. As much as I love doing eBay, and as much as I plan to continue to, or just reselling things, as much as I plan to always continue to do this on some level, even if it's not my full-time income. Yeah. So anyway, so that's my plans. At one point I thought maybe I should get my real estate license, but you know what? I just don't want to. I just don't want to do real estate. Okay. Although I shouldn't say that 100%. I just don't want to be like a realtor. But my dad owns a condo, and I've always thought that we should try to do something like Airbnb, like what Scavenger Life is doing, and we discussed it 4 or 5 years ago. But, there was just too many unknowns. We didn't, whatever. But now that thank you, Scavenger Life, I feel, and also the business itself, there's more infrastructure, and it's more known, I guess. There's more information out there about it to make me feel confident that something like that could work. And plus, the rents have really gone up in my area compared to 4 or 5 years ago, like by a pretty large margin. So that's kind of promising too. So I do plan to, hopefully, if we can convince my dad to let us do it, I want to do Airbnb type rental properties. But that's a little different than like being a realtor and selling real estate. It's just having a piece of real estate and doing something with it. And if I get to the point, maybe in 3 or 4 years, I could buy my own property and do something with it like that as well. But I love that whole idea. I've had properties before that I rented out, and I gotta tell you, I wish if things could have only been different. Back in my day, we didn't have all these opportunities that exist today. It's amazing. I love the world right now. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? So, okay, my strategy for right now is to list clothing up the yin-yang. And so I just went today and bought a grip ton of clothing. I was going to go to the bins, but I'm like, you know what? There's this one little thrift shop that I always do really good at, and they usually have like really good stuff, and I don't know if I really want to go to the bins. Like... And so I ended up getting about maybe 55, 60 items for about $125 or a little more than that. Maybe it was $127 and some change. But, and so basically it turns out everything was like maybe $2.15, whatever that adds up to be. And I sort of did a rough estimate of how much was every single item if I divided it equally. So I'm real excited about that. Like, that's great. There were some pieces technically that I paid like $5.50 for, and then some pieces I paid like $1.50, that kind of thing. But, you know, if you really wanted to split them up equally, it would be a little over $2 for everything, each piece. So that's a really great average. It's not bins prices, but it's all really good stuff that it may not be huge money, but I'm pretty confident it will sell and attract people to my store. And right here, I was hoping to have a better... I probably should have moved it. No, it just doesn't want to go. I got, one of the things I'm focusing on, in addition to clothing, or more specifically, is athletic stuff. I always do really good with the athletic stuff, and it's usually, you know, for where I live, I am not finding Ronnie stuff or Nicole stuff. You know, I get like, you know, we get a Nike Dry Fit shirt, you know, and that's pretty fancy schmancy. Athleta, you know, the odd Ralph Lauren, the every once in a while Alberto Macaulay, or the soft surroundings, a lot of J. Jill. I hardly ever find anything of any consequence. And these people that go to like thrift stores and there's like tons of Coach bags and all these, I'm like, I never see stuff like that in my area. And then if you do find something decent, it's like they know about it and they want $50. It's like, well, I'd be lucky to get 40 for it on the internet, you know, but, so there's just no way. And the other thing I think in my area is, I live on the side of town where they don't have a lot of stores that have, you know, we don't have the Saks Fifth Avenue over here on my end of town. That's more like on the east side. The Nordstroms, the higher end brands are just a little more prevalent, like over in the Scottsdale East Valley area of Phoenix. And I really don't get over there that much. But to tell you the truth, the few times I've been over to like the thrift stores over there, they got the same crap they have over here on my side of town. And if they, again, those thrift stores are the places where if they do have a really nice Coach leather bag, you know, you're going to have to buy it for $60. That's like what it probably sells for on eBay. Like, I just, you know, it's not, I don't consider it a good source. You know, and they know, I'm sure there's always like the odd brand that slips through their fingers, or they know they're not going to get eBay prices on the floor or whatever, or they underestimate a brand. You know, I'm sure that happens over there in that area. And maybe if I was thrifting over in that area more often, I might think a little differently, but so far I haven't been impressed with the thrifting over in the East Valley. And the other thing that I think happens is we have quite a few consignment and resale shops, and, you know, anybody that has clothing of any kind of value, they just take it over there, and I think they're getting pretty good money. for their items. And so one of these days I do want to go on, I want to take like a good $300 or $400 and go around to a lot of the resale shops and consignment shops and just see if they have, better prices on the floor than they would on eBay for stuff. And maybe certain brands you're going to find is a good deal. And I've had that happen. Like there's a resale shop by my house that I picked up a pair of cowboy boots for $20 over there, and that was like their full asking price, and I just recently sold them for a little over $50. And I think when I did the math, I made about $25 or something like that. A little less than 25, I don't know, but I was thrilled, and I might have been able to make more. I took like an offer, and I don't know what I was thinking when I countered, and I countered a little on the low side. I guess I was just like, I just want to make the sale, But I had like a ton of watchers on the boots. I had them listed for like $89, and she was like, somebody was finally, but it's like it wasn't selling through, and that $89, I would still have sales on that, so it would be going down to $65, and nobody was just, scooping them up at $65. And so when somebody's like, what's the lowest you'll go? And I said, $54, but I should have went like with $58. But again, what is it? That's $4, but still $4 is $4. So, anywho, my whole point there is that I do not live in a place where there is just an abundance of stuff that you can sell for $30, $40 as far as clothing is concerned. And even like regular stuff, I find it's not like there's... Very rarely do you walk into a place and go, oh my God, this is great. Oh my God, this is great. Oh my God. You have to like really dig to find like the one or two good things. But every once in a while, and usually Savers by my house has been the biggest honey hole. And this other thrift store too, over by my dad's, it's a little far away, but it's real little. Anyways, so those are all my thoughts and experiences as of late. This is where I have landed. Now, I'm a little disappointed because I had absolutely no sales on Turkey Day. Zip, nada, zero. I had, like, my regular sale ended right before Thanksgiving. And so I started a new sale, and that was my plan, was to do like a mega sale like I've never done a sale before. Usually I run sales around $27. It might be 24, 26, 27, 28, 20, and then every once in a while 29, 30.